President Obama saying the United States will not send ground troops to Libya as NATO decides whether to take full control of the military fight against Muammar Gaddafi. Support for the U.S. presence there is thin. My next guest says the biggest obstacle for the U.S. government's role abroad is our deficit here at home. John Lakian is chairman for asset management firm Capital L Group and a former Massachusetts gubernatorial candidate. John, great to be here. Thank you so much.
Nice to see you.
Are you surprised at the quick and intense focus on the cost of this operation for the U.S., really on both sides of the aisle?
Yeah, I'm absolutely stunned. The first day of Tomahawk missiles being sent, what do you see on Fox News and on other channels? The cost of how much each Tomahawk cost and the aggregate cost. And if plane shot down, they immediately give you the cost of the plane. I've never seen a war in which there's a cost accounting on the first day of the war. And that's because of our debt situation. That's because the country as a whole feels so out of control debt-wise.
And but in the future, do you think that the focus will remain on the finances of these operations? And what does it really mean for our national security going forward, that if every decision is driven purely by cost? And I'm not saying that this one that they will be, but how big of a worry is that for you?
Well, I think it's a huge worry. I mean, in fact, they're adding up the cost. Now, what do we say? It's cost us $1 billion so far. And when we were fighting World War II or Korea or Vietnam or even Persian Gulf I or whatever you may have, nobody was doing cost accounting on television, how much it was costing us. And the reason we're doing that is because we're in debt. We're spending $5 billion a day raising money to pay our budgets. And when you're in that situation, it's an absolute threat to national security. The debt situation in the country is the equivalent of a foreign foe invading California. It's the most... nobody can touch us militarily. We're not insecure from any other point of view from some nation conquering us. We're insecure because the national debt is so out of control, it creates a security risk for the entire country. Can you afford the armies and navies you have currently if you don't figure out some way to do something?
You look at the rise of power of Germany, though, during our Great Depression. It does raise the issue of the financial condition this country was in during the 1930s, and then the following decade, World War II erupts. So that does paint a picture of, if you have a country that's financially unstable, what kind of position does it put you in?
It puts you in a very vulnerable position, and I think the president. The lack of leadership here on this issue is really a dereliction of duty.
But that's not a financial criticism, is it? It's just a broad strategy criticism in terms of how we went into Libya with these allies.
That's absolutely true. It's a broad strategy question. And the other problem we have here is you went into Libya, and I cannot believe they do not have an objective. And the NATO seems to have one objective. The French have another objective. The Americans, I don't know what objective we have. We just want to degrade their military and bomb them so the rebels can do something. We don't know what that something is.
John, it was great to see you.
Great to see you,
Thank you so much.
David.
Come back soon.
John.